As I think about the narrow path that God talks about, that He reveals to Jesus, there's this narrow way and there's this broad way. Oftentimes I focus on the broad road, okay? I focus that there's a lot of people that are just living their life in destruction. Just, they're entering that broad gate and they're just continuing that path until they die. Just destroying themselves inside. And how eventually they're going to be led to like eternal destruction. And for all eternity, they're going to be being destroyed. I get frustrated. I get worried that maybe I'm on that road and I don't know it. But I think one thing that helps me when I think about narrow and broad, okay, I think I focus on God's grace. That's something that I'm never going to understand. Okay, we talked about on Sunday how we have this big backpack full of grace and we need to like sprinkle it on ourselves and hand it out to our other friends that were on the narrow road with us and just other passerbys. And how we need to do that. Just reminding that we might be on the narrow road, but we are very sinful and we're not living the way that we should. We just chose to go the way that leads to God, even though sometimes we don't do very well at it. When I really think about grace, I just realize that I can never understand it. Like, who says that the sin that I commit is worthy of grace, but the sins that other people commit are not? Like, I get so caught up sometimes with deciding who I think's in and out, who's narrow and who's broad, that I forget that God's laid it all out there for us all, and we all make our own free will choice, but I'm never going to know who's on what road. So that's made me realize I need to think about people differently. I need to think about how, if I don't know which road someone's on, I shouldn't treat them as if they're on a certain road. Like, say I have a friend that God knows is on the broad path, okay, that's leading to destruction, but they've convinced me that they're in the narrow. So I don't worry about them. I don't focus my energy on trying to get them to live more of the Christian life. But then I have another friend who is on the narrow path, but they never talk about God. They're very silent with it. So I think that they're on the broad, just from the way that I see them. So I focus all my energy on them, but really what's happening is that I've messed it up. And I should be helping out the one when I'm helping out the other. You see, because I'm never going to know, I realize I just need to treat everyone the same, regardless of the road that they're on. I need to hand out grace. I need to have hope. You see, that's part of that tree that we talked about in Psalms 1 that you guys are going to read again. Is its roots are dug down deep, and that soil is the soil of hope. It's a soil of saying, there might only be few on the narrow road, but I hope that in the end there's going to be many. I might think they're not on the narrow way, but I hope that by the time their life ends, they're going to find that path. See, I need to have hope. I need to have grace. I need to treat people regardless of the road they're on, because I'll never know which road that they're on. It goes back to when we talked about judging. I cannot judge and decide which road they're on. So I need to treat everyone regardless of the road. And that's what I want you to focus on this week. To treating people regardless of the road that they're on, because you don't know. You need to find the way that you think that God wants you to love your neighbor, and that's everyone that He's placed in your life, that you pass by in the halls, that you sit next to at lunch, that you go home, and those people that you call family, and those people that you go to church with and go to youth group with. Those are the people God's put in your life. Stop deciding what road you think they're on, and start deciding how God wants you just to love people regardless of the way. And that's how those of us that are on the narrow path, those are the eyes that we have to see the rest of the world. Those are the types of people that we become that invite others into our life. So we get too caught up on the narrow and the broad, when God says the way you treat people is above that. The way you pray for people is above that. The way you have hope in this world is above that. I think those that are on the narrow road don't even stop to think that they are. They're just overflowing with how God wants them to live, but they're living above it. So do that this week. Focus on living above the narrow way. Focus on the people in your life and how you need to love them all the same. Have a good week.